Hi everyone, it's Jessica and I'm with Vine and Sparrow, and today we're going to be giving you 8 tips on how to get the most out of your wedding venue tours. Be visiting a lot of venues in the search for finding the perfect one for your wedding. So here are 8 tips on how to get the most out of your tours to make sure that you can have the best and easiest decision process when finding the perfect location for your wedding. Tip 1 is to make sure you schedule a tour appointment. And it's very important because venues have events going on continuously, or the space is getting updated, or they already have meetings scheduled. So making sure that to best utilize your time and the venue's time is to make sure that you schedule an appointment. This will also give you the opportunity to have the most amount of time possible with the coordinator, and so that you can fully take advantage and soak in all the information that goes into receiving a tour. So a couple of things is, for us specifically, I know that we don't tour during events, and this is very common for most venues. So if you show up when there's an event in progress, or we already have a meeting scheduled, you unfortunately have driven out and would not be able to tour the space. And then on the other side of things is that we are also not on property unless there's something going on. So there is another reason why it is so very important to make sure that you schedule an appointment before stopping by for a tour. Tip 2 is to prepare for your tour. You've probably already done a good amount of research on the venues that you're looking at, but do a little bit more digging. Look for photos, check out reviews, check out the website, and try to get as much information as possible in advance, because there's just going to be so much information given during the tour. And so also in preparing and going through all that information is you can write down your list of questions and come with a list of questions. There's so many times where I've been on a tour and they're just like, I forgot all my questions. And so making sure that you write those down and bring those questions with you will help you best utilize your tour time, because then you won't have to be communicating back and forth via email with your questions, and it will also get all your questions out. And so when it comes time to reviewing the different venues that you've toured, you'll be able to go back to your questions and you'll have your answers, versus having to be like, well, let me go ask about this. Well, let me go ask about this. So making sure that you bring the questions that you have with you and come prepared to your venue tour is hugely important. Third is to invite a decision maker. So if you and your partner are paying for your wedding, that's great. Just bring the two of you. If your parents are getting involved, I highly recommend bringing them with you if they can, because a lot of times what happens is you'll be touring a space, you'll fall in love with it, and then you have to go and schedule another tour to have them come and see the space, and to get their buy-in. So making sure that you bring those decision makers with you is a great way to save you time and get the most out of your tour. Another piece on that is to make sure that you don't bring too many people with you, because then you're going to have a lot of opinions and a lot of different voices, and so making sure that you keep it limited. We recommend no more than 4 people come on a tour, but if, let's say, both sets of families really want to be involved, you could go up to 6, but I definitely would not go over 6 people on a tour for a venue. Your 4th tip is going to be making sure that you arrive on time, and I also highly recommend arriving early. Give yourself time to find parking and figure out what your guests will be parking. Find the time to look around the town and see if there's photo opportunities, or just take a look and see what the first impressions your guests are going to have as they're entering and coming into your wedding is going to be hugely important. So, and it allows you to analyze the feels that you get when you enter your space. So making sure that you arrive on time so that you have full opportunity to check out the exterior of the property, but then to also allow you the full amount of tour time possible so that you can get all of your questions answered will hugely be helpful in the end. Number 5 is to bring something to bring notes with and take notes with on. So bringing pen and paper with you is going to be a huge help. Like mentioned earlier, so much information is getting thrown at you during the tour, between what insurance you need, decor rules, what's required to book the space. So making sure that you have a pen and paper down so that you can take all those notes. It will also help during the decision process of when you have like multiple venues that you're looking for. It'll help keep your information organized to each specific venue so that you're not getting lines crossed between this venue has this venue has this, which will make planning process so much easier. Number 6 is to take pictures. This is hugely important. It will be very helpful for you during the planning of your events, your wedding, and then it will also be helpful for when you're going through that decision process, because you'll be able to look back at the space and see what it looked like, and it will help you keep things different between different venues, because sometimes, especially if you're visiting lots of venues, it can be easily crossed and you'll be like, well, this venue had this, oh actually it was actually this venue that had that. So photos help significantly, and then during the planning process, it will help you in choosing decor and remembering what the space looks like, because you typically only see your tour, your venue about 3 times during the whole entire wedding planning process. So making sure that you get the most out of your tour and take pictures, take lots of pictures. I always highly recommend taking pictures of where the ceremony is going to be. It's going to be a great keepsake for you and your partner, but then I'll also show you like, this is what it's going to look like, this is where we're getting married, and so it'll be really nice. Number 7 is to check out the behind the scenes. So making sure that you check out the bathroom space, make sure that you are checking out the kitchen or the catering prep area is hugely important, because you need to think about what kind of restroom is your guest going to be using, and is your food going to be prepped in a clean space, because you don't want to have your caterers working in a dirty space. And so don't forget to check out those behind the scenes spaces and making sure that the bathrooms are clean, the kitchen area, you know, all that is up to standards. And then last but not least, don't be afraid to book on site. It's hugely important, especially when we get into the busy wedding season of booking and engagements and stuff. The longer you wait to book your venue, the harder it is, or you'll lose out possibly on the date that you would like. So bring your credit card, bring your checkbook with you, and if you've fallen in love with a space, book it then and there. Don't be afraid not to. Don't be afraid to book it, because it can, you know, during a busy time, you could potentially lose out on that date, and you don't want to do that. So if you find the location that you've fallen in love with, book it as soon as you can, and don't be afraid to book it on site. So those are my tips, 8 tips on how to get the most. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and we'll take a look.